Hi there.
Hello.
We're here.
It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Oh, I got this.
Try that again.
There we go. They should. I don't think it would have made a difference.
Hopefully
Yes.
no too terrible echoes. Oh, goodness. I have a funky part going on. There we go.
Oh, good afternoon. So we got lots to talk about today.
We do.
Yeah. It's gonna be an exciting. We've not really ever done like a ScanNCut maintenance thing.
We haven't. So
So-
I think this will be a good thing. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, there's not a lot. But
important.
what we have for you is definitely important.
Yeah.
So, and you'll definitely find your sitting down and playtime more fun if you're not dealing with dumb stuff. So we're gonna try to take care of some of that dumb stuff.
Yeah. We got a lot of really nice comments about how much everybody enjoyed.
Yes, absolutely.
All the information that we gave them last time. So it's really fun when customers come in and they say, I like your mix of, teaching without like ramming the product down my throat.
You must do this. That's how it works here.
Yeah.
We are definitely drill sergeants when it comes to that.
Totally.
No, maybe not. Maybe not.
As we giggle. Yes,
But yeah,
super
so
hardcore.
last week's, if you didn't have a chance, and you're wondering like, okay, what are they talking about? We talked about the basics.
Kind of
So
hard to get started.
how the buttons function, where to find the different things on the screen, how to load your mat. And then we talked about the blades
Yep.
and the mats and which ones were which, so that you knew all of that.
Yep.
And then we did a little bit of cutting so that you could see how that worked, and talked about how to cut some other things.
Yes.
So.
So if you have any questions about what we talked about last week,
Well, we're still in January.
Just pop them up there and we'll be sure to answer those.
Absolutely.
But you definitely want to wait around until the end of the show because we have some exciting stuff to talk about for a really big sale that we're having.
We do.
So we're not gonna give you.
We're not going to spill the
details.
beans.
No,
you have to hang out to hear it.
Hang out.
See, drill sergeants. We warned you.
We did. I don't have a ScanNCut yet. I do own a SnL and a 1055. I'm a Cricut Union user, but last week's video really got me interested. Honestly, intimidated to try new cutting machines.
I mean, if you're one of our customers, it's not intimidating because you get us.
Yes.
So, we'll help you certainly walk through anything that you're working on. I've had people come in and say, okay, I want to do this. And I'm like, oh, I haven't done that before. Let's figure it out. We'll figure it out together.
Yeah.
I've certainly done things that I wouldn't have personally because a customer wanted to know
learn,
how
yeah.
and see how
We
all
tried
that
it
went.
out.
So absolutely here to help you guys figure out new things that,
And with you being a SnL owner, there is a special connection that you can do to the 325 or the 330 ScanNCuts that will give you like a magic applique button, which is really, really
It
neat.
is phenomenal. I mean, I have tried to do that in my software. And yes, it is possible, but it is a pain in the rump
Right.
to do that actually digitizing. So that there's a button in the sewing machine that does that for you automatically without having to do anything other than push a button and say, I want that one,
Yes.
is amazing.
So, like, we have always had a button on our machines that we could say, oh, you know what? Turn this little cut file piece into a ScanNCut file piece that we can cut. So we've had that for a really, really long time. But then they introduced this special connection that goes through, which we have the patch.
The patch part on our machines. There's
Right.
it looks like a shield. That's the applique or patch creator.
And when you link the ScanNCut to the sewing machine, when you touch that button, you have a new special feature, which is auto applique.
It is. And what does that actually mean? So it doesn't, I mean, we had kind of an auto applique before.
Right.
But this actually changes fill stitches to applique.
Yes.
So picture an apple or a heart or whatever, and you've got it completely filled in. That would take you, 20 minutes just to stitch that fill, right? Well, I don't want to do that, or one, I don't want to have the time, or two, my fabric can't sustain that many stitches.
Right.
It would really kill whatever it was I wanted to put that on. This magic button Basically, you can click the button and say, I would like to turn that into an applique.
Yes.
And it does it automatically. You say, this is the color stop. It finds the spot. And you can choose whether you want it to be a light zigzag, a heavy satin stitch.
Right.
So you tell it what you want. It's an absolutely amazing. And it's seconds.
Right.
And it does it perfectly. It's really great.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
So
A couple different
things here. So finishing up with Marina here, we do encourage you to use your local dealer, but if your local dealer isn't available to participate, we can be your local ScanNCut dealer.
Absolutely. We'd be happy to. And we do this, obviously.
Yes.
Hi. And we also do classes in store, and those would pretty much all be virtual as well as in person.
Yep.
Either at the same time or sometimes a separate date, depending upon what the class is.
Yeah, we've gotten really good at Zoom.
But yeah, we're very good at that. So you are more than welcome to join in for the education. And we've offered this many times. I have not had anyone take me up on it. Have you? We have offered Zoom classes for customers that are local, that maybe don't want to drive in because it's an hour or whatever, but still local, to do a Zoom lesson as well. So we're happy to fix whatever is broken. No, not broken, but help you with whatever you're struggling with in any way we possibly can.
Yeah. So you can let us know. And then someone also asked, is the video from last week still available? I would love to see the video. It is.
Absolutely.
You can find that on our YouTube or our Facebook page. Sometimes they're a little bit harder to find on the Facebook page, but if you can't find it quickly, if you just send us a quick email,
we can send you a link.
We can send you a link to that video pretty quickly.
But the YouTubes are actually pretty easy to locate because there's the search in there, and they actually let us organize that. Facebook doesn't let us organize, in categories or anything like that. So you just have to find the random posting, which can be a little bit more challenging. But they are still all there on both YouTube or Facebook, whichever one is the better for you.
Yep. We would love to come and hang down there for a weekend and just go to the beach.
Fantastic plan. Let's do that. Yay. I love it. Let's do that. Please do.
I'm going to scroll the email down at the bottom of our page here, so that should make it a little bit easier. It is basically the word stitching, and then it's at LaBueSewingCenter.com. So it'll come back around.
Yep, it's coming.
And that is how you can reach us.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about today's stuff, and just pop up more questions if you have them. And Kathy loves her. She loves her ScanNCut. That's what she said.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, I love that's fantastic. Let's totally go to I'm down, totally down. Absolutely ready to go. So we've got lots of fun information for you today. We used to do things a little different, and we've found better ways to do things as we go. And the better you are able to take care of your mats, the longer they're going to last, all of those good things. And the better your cuts are actually going to be in the process of the cutting. So yes, of course, your mat will last longer if you clean it and take care of it. But the cuts will actually be better cuts if you don't have gunk stuck in the mats. So last week we talked about that it was very normal and expected to get actual lines in the mat. If you're not getting lines in the mat, that means the blade's not going all the way through and you're not getting a clean cut. So the only time you won't see that is if you're doing a half cut on a vinyl or something similar to that. Any other time you should see the lines from whatever the outline or whatnot of whatever you're cutting into the mat. It obviously shouldn't go all the way through, but you should definitely see an indent into that cutting surface. What happens is fabrics and fuzz and things get into that little crack, and then they stay there.
They do.
So we need to get those out, because the more cut lines that you have on the mat, the more fuzz that stays there. And if you have too much and you're not cleaning it off, you actually will get that area that won't stick anymore because there's too much fuzz and it overrides the ability to stick anything down there. So to repeat, take care of your mats and have them last longer is don't always cut in that upper left-hand corner. So that's where it's going to pop into the screen. Move it around so that you're utilizing the entire areas of the mat, not just the same spot over and over again.
That's
will
super important.
definitely help you elongate the life of your mat. So this is just all of the stuff from last time. I never got rid of it. So these are the pieces that we did. We cut some vinyls and things like that. So we talked about how to do all of those things. If anybody had a question, I thought I better not just chuck those somewhere else because somebody might ask something on there. So let's start with the mats because that's what we just started talking about. So we talked about the different types. You've got gold, purple, and sorry, you okay over there?
Yeah, yeah. Just trying to make room so we don't
you've got
throw anything on the floor.
The teal here. You've got the purple, and then you've got the gold color here. Those are going to be indicative of different amount of tack in the cutting area of the mat itself. So we have low tack, standard tack, and fabric mat. And this is the lowest amount of adhesive, and then it increases to the most amount.
They don't make one to match the purple one.
They don't.
Should.
This should absolutely be purple. You are not wrong.
If you're listening.
Because I like purple. So for no other reason than I like purple, and so does Sarah.
Yes.
So they should totally do that. So the rotary blade, which is this guy here, and when we pop that off, it does have literally a mini rotary little circle you can see there. All right. This is the only one I generally keep the cap for. Because it is an open blade. The blade is literally outside of the holder itself. And I don't want to reach in and grab it and then end up cutting my finger because I didn't put a cap on it.
Or nick it like a regular rotary blade.
You don't want it to get a little chunk out of it or anything because you hit it with something else too. Absolutely. So this one is brand new, which is why it still has a cap on it. I stole it out of a machine. So this is the standard blade, and I'm going to put these on the mats that I generally use those items with. And then this is the fabric, and look at that. It matches.
It does.
So this one matches this one. You can use this over here as well. Technically, you could use it over here too, but I don't.
No.
Never have, probably never will. But technically you could if you really wanted to.
Because this mat is very, very sticky.
Very, very sticky. So, I mean, even to get the plastic off, you have to pull. It grabs really, really well.
And I really need to clean ours, so it's good timing.
So, you know, it's funny though. As soon as you start using this, it doesn't look, even after it's clean, it's still going to look a little different than what you had before. And then the last one is the vinyl blade. And that one, it's going to be one of these two. One of these two.
Yeah.
So the you can of course use this in either any of the places.
Right.
But the standard mat is kind of like your universal sewing needle. It can be used for all kinds of different things.
And when the machines first came out, this was our only option.
It was this. It looked a little different, but yes, this was the only thing. So in the original, so going back into the CM, which is where they actually started, there was also something that you could purchase called a deep cut blade. And so that was like crazy heavy duty blade comparative to what is in here. And that was for cutting. You could cut balsa wood with it and those kinds of things, but you didn't want to use your standard blade for that. So just by the way that it was set up. Now this, if I was going to cut balsa wood, this would be the blade I would use this in this system. Yes. So,
but we didn't have this many choices.
Absolutely not. This is definitely a new addition with the DX series machines. Somebody out there has probably got a CM and they're wondering if they can purchase these blades to use in your machine. And unfortunately, the answer is no. You can use and mix and match these blades any way that you would like, for the most part, to your specific project needs, but they are not interchangeable with the CM series machines.
Correct. And the
neither are the mats.
Blade she's asking, can be used in vinyl. It absolutely can.
Absolutely.
The vinyl blade is detail, so it's got a very, very fine point to it.
This is the standard, and I'm going to try to do this without stabbing myself or hindering your view. So can we see that at all?
Yep. There.
See how heavy that blade is?
It's kind of thick.
All right. When I go to this guy, It's faced the opposite direction, but I'm gonna have to zoom in way more.
There you go. It's
Look
really,
how
really small.
detailed that blade is. It's very, very small. So the reason that this was created was for a very intricate vinyl cut. So we found that we were having problems getting a great cut on heat transfer vinyl or even craft vinyl, like if you had
Like
a tip
spider web. Yeah.
or a
Fine.
tiny little dot.
Yep.
Anything really intricate, the heavier blade when it was turning would sometimes give you that accordion peel.
Yep.
Because it was just too heavy of a blade to do those types of cuts. If you're just doing, you know, an A with that's simple straight lines and of course, and honestly, you can do this with a lot of other things because this is all we had for a long time.
Right.
They just came out with this one to make for a better cut.
Yep.
That's all that's there.
Yep. They still make blades and mats for this currently.
Yes. So as of right now, all of the current line of CM products are still available.
Yes.
They haven't killed off any of those things. We just can't buy.
They just don't create
the machines, and they're not creating anything new for it. So all of the new kits and different things you have to have a DX for. They're not backwards compatible from there. But refill blades, blade holders, mats, all of those things you can still get for your CM, and we do generally carry those in stock.
Yeah. But I would say that it probably won't be forever.
No, definitely not. And
I could see them running out of the stock.
What, about 5 years?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it's within the next year or two for sure.
Yeah.
That they'll stop carrying those items.
Right, or they'll stop manufacturing them, and then once
that inventory runs down, then there won't be any more.
I would be shocked if they were even still manufacturing them.
I would be too. There's probably a warehouse full of them that we're pulling from, and they just haven't notified us because the number's not low enough yet. But yes, at this moment, you can still get the materials to run those. All right. So
let's talk about...
should we change one before we do the mats, or just go ahead and go to the mats?
This is kind of a messy thing.
Yeah, let's just do this.
Yeah.
So all of the blade replacements are the same. So each of these the gray sections here, screw off. So they literally just lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. See, so simple. And that will screw off there. And then you get into the inner housing of what's going on there. So there's that really detailed blade. They should all have a spring. Sometimes the spring falls out. No big deal. Just put it back in there.
Yep.
And then this is what you would change when you change your blade when it comes time to do so. And then you just screw it back on. So I'm not changing that one because that's not the blade I brought over here to show you.
So the important part, the blades are not interchangeable.
Nope.
So you can't just go buy like the rotary blade
and throw it in another holder.
Yeah, it won't work.
So to that, let me put this back on. To that point, the backs of these are all slightly different. So you can see there's 2 grooves here, only 1 groove here. All right. Same thing here. There's only 1 groove, but it's in a different spot. I don't know if you can see that with the glare. So the machine knows what blade housing you have in there when you put it in. It recognizes it based on the grooves that are on the back of so they are definitely not interchangeable. Things aren't going to work right if you don't have the correct piece, especially the rotary, because as you can see, it is completely different. Nothing's going to work right if you don't have the correct piece there. All right. So don't say, I'm just going to set this blade here and I'll throw it in whichever. Nope, don't do that. You always want to know which blade came from which housing, and so on. So the blade refills are going to come in a box, and they're going to be taped in there usually pretty good. The old ones just had a cardboard plastic thing over there, and the plastic pieces came out so often they finally nixed that and went to the box.
Right.
So when you get the blade out of whatever type of packaging it is that you've picked up, whether it's the newer box or the older cardboard with a plastic piece glued to the front, then they're good. We're going to remove the blade from the package. Oh, it's like a rubber. That's why I'm like, why is it not coming out? The other ones are more of a plastic. So this is the rotary. and it's different, which is why I'm making a point out of it. So it's got this plastic covering to keep that there. You can leave that there if you want while you're inserting, not a big deal. But what I need to do is I need to remove this part from, so I'm going to come whichever side I'm not grabbing the blade, I'm going to go the opposite way, and I'm going to grab that and just pull it out after I unscrew the top. Don't mind me.
Yes.
I already did that once on the other one, so my brain said I had already done it.
They kind of set like magnet-wise.
It is a magnet in there, so you're going to have to pull just a little bit, and then when you let go and it sinks in, it snaps. I don't know if you guys could hear that or not, but it there, you can kind of hear the little clunk. That's the magnet grabbing hold of that. So we're going to just take this guy out, and we're going to put the new guy in. Just like that. And then we can work off that plastic housing. So I've changed that blade. The first thing that I always do is put my old blade into the housing that I just took the new one out of. That way I don't have a open blade anywhere. And then this goes right back in, and we screw that there. So this is a little different system than these because of the spring and everything. So that is all there is to changing a blade, and we're ready to go. With all of the different blades and types and lifetime, because you're going to use different blades, different amounts, I highly recommend that you keep a piece of paper or a little notebook or something next to your ScanNCut and say, new blade, this is the setting I'm using or whatever for this blade, so that you know what to set it to when you're coming back to it.
Yep.
So last week we talked about bumping it up a little bit when it's getting a little duller. With 4 blades, if you have all 4, if you only have 1 or 2, it might be easy enough for you to remember, and that's great.
Right.
But I recommend having just a little piece of paper that you jot down, you know, I changed it here, and now I need to go to auto.
Yep.
And then when you bump it to 1, make a note, bump it to 1, so that when you grab this blade the next time, you can go, okay, where's my setting? And boom, you're good to go. So that is all there is to it. And then again, I put the cap right back on there. So I generally put these back, the old ones, into the packaging and then throw the packaging away so that there's no open blade anywhere. Right. That's how I change blades. And one more time with the spring, it's the same thing. Be really gentle. Look at the blade. Don't stab yourself. Look and see where the blade is, like directionally, and then grab and just pull that out. And then again, it will suck right back in there. These grab hold a little bit quicker than the heavier rotary. And then this goes right back on. Yep. If your spring has come off, not a big deal. I had to pull that one off, but it just needs to be set back on and then screwed back in place. So if the spring pops off, you do want it in there, so put it back in, but just put that back in and then screw it back off, and you're all set, ready to go.
So if you wanted to make sure that you don't have any debris in your...
Oh, see, that's why I told you to remind me, because I would forget. So sometimes we cut something with glitter or fuzz or whatever it happens to be. Now this one's going to be brand new, so there's definitely not going to be anything in there. Let's try the vinyl blade. We might have some glitter in there. You never know.
You never know.
So glitter HTV is really glittery, right? So and sometimes you get these little flakes that pop off the material when you are cutting. And sometimes they don't go on the mat. Sometimes they go right into the housing through the opening at the bottom. That little tiny hole, you'd be amazed, right? So if you are not getting cutting results the way you expected,
and you're like,
but you're like, it's a brand new blade, you can open it up and look in here, and you'll probably see, now I haven't cut anything recently, but you could see probably a buildup of glitter in there if you've got one. And all you have to do is take this part, and it generally will fall right out. Oh, there's a little bit, but do that, and then the housing and the blade has a full range of motion inside there, and you should have no problems whatsoever. What blade would I use for rhinestone flock? So depends on what size rhinestones. If it's like super small circles, I might go to this one, but I generally just use my standard blade for rhinestone flock. But I personally use half cut. And I will tell you, on the CM series, we fought with those a little bit, getting the exact right depth of cut so that it cut cleanly and it was easy to weed out those. We always joke around about rhinestone pocks that we'd have because we'd all have these black stickers everywhere. So it looked like we had pocks. So we joked around about having rhinestone pocks. But this new system, the depth is like
Perfect.
It's perfect. They just do it right. And so, yeah, even for that, unless you're trying to go lot smaller, I would still stick with my auto blade.
Yeah, auto blade for
So
even that size.
that's what I would do. But on this machine, of course, you're going to want to use, in my opinion, half cut.
Yeah.
You can cut all the way through and then stick it to something else to use for a backing. This works so well. I don't do that anymore.
Right.
I used to fart with it a lot, but I don't have to do that anymore. They definitely have improved all of that. So here we are to the mats. Again, stickiest, middle, and least amount here.
You are very welcome, Peggy. She's just thanking us for a great explanation.
Thank you. Thank you. So again, you can see there is fuzz. Maybe
probably when you take this cover off.
Let's take the shiny stuff off. What do you think? So first of all, look at all those cut lines. All right.
See a
so
pumpkin.
There's a pumpkin. There's some hearts in there. There's all kinds of stuff. So completely normal to see all of those lines there. That's actually what you want. So you want to see that. But you can see I've also got some fuzz in some random spots here that have fallen in. That's just what I can see. You'd be amazed how much is there that you can't actually even see. So I'm going to start with this one. And we use this fantastic stuff called Totally Awesome. Now, somebody asked me, is there a better or is there another way to do this? Yeah, you could probably use some different cleaner and still use the same type of thing. But you want to be careful of what you're putting on there because you don't want it to eat away your adhesive.
Yes.
So do not just grab anything. Make sure that you're paying attention.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who do all kinds of different things. Baby wipes and all kinds of different things.
So baby wipes used to be like, that's what we would tell you to do because that's what we were told to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know, one of the nice things about baby wipes is, they're soft and they're like material. What do you think that does when you put that on your adhesive? You get pieces of the baby wipe that actually stick in there. So can you use that? You can. Are you going to get a great result? Probably not.
We find
not
this
like
to
this.
Be better.
It won't be anywhere near this stuff. So again, the name of this is LA's Totally Awesome. So that is where the name is. We try to keep some bottles here to sell for those of you that can't find it somewhere else. You can find it on Amazon. It's expensive on Amazon, but you can find it there. I have found it in Big Lots and the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, I think I've seen it at Menards too.
Okay. So when I'm cleaning, I start anyways with a spray in each quadrant of my mat. So I start with 4. At some point, that's so strong, I forget. I was just going to say, don't, this is a concentrate, so there's actually a
you can dilute it.
A diluted chart on the side. We're not diluting anything. That one. I had it out. Where'd it go? So this is called a scraper. Let me say this loud in capital letters. Do not scrape your mat with this. Yeah. All I use this for is to move the cleaner around so that it gets into those different areas. All right. And grab hold. So there's that red. I don't know if you guys can see that there. I could try to zoom in, but it's kind of hard.
You could use your hands.
You can. I have really bad skin.
Yeah, if you're very sensitive.
So, and this is not a weak cleaner. All right. If you scrape, you will remove the actual adhesive that is in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys can see how dirty and gross this is starting to look, but this mat didn't look that dirty, did it? So I'm just moving the cleaner all over the areas of the mat. So it didn't look like there was really much other than those couple of colored spots in this map. But you can very clearly see I have a pile of yuck that needed to come out. And those are all the little bits that are in the grooves that you've cut into the mat, which again are normal and you need them to be there. This is how you get the stuff out. So I still have little bits in places on the mat. I'm not worrying about that. First thing I do is I get regular old paper towel and I clean off my scraper and I set that aside. Then I start and wipe that all down and make sure I get my pile of gunk. Now look at all of that. It did not look anywhere near that dirty when I started. So you want to remove all of the cleaner and you will pick up little bits as that were left behind. That's why I said don't stress too much, because when you wipe it down, it will grab hold of anything that was sticking out there. Now, at the moment, this doesn't feel overly sticky. That's okay. When it air dries, it comes back to life and it will be just as sticky, if not more so, than when we started. Here, I can chuck that over here.
So we can set it aside and we'll come back to it in just a few minutes and
we'll show you how sticky it is. So the fabric mat itself is a little bit funkier to clean because of how sticky it is. You're going to do the same thing. My bottle's getting a little low. My sprays don't have much spray in them. And I'm going to do that same thing. And I'm going to just gently move these pieces around and grab hold of the different areas. It's super strong. I don't normally talk while I'm doing it. I'm just inhaling it. All right.
She's like, this is starting to look like a QVC demo.
Right? Good Lord. All right. So this is what I was talking about, is you will still see, and I'll hold the mat up a little bit when I'm done. You're still going to see some discoloration everywhere on the mat once you've used it. 100. I love those. My wallet doesn't. Oh, that's fantastic. So I'm just going to get side, and then I don't want to press really hard on the sticky because I don't want my paper towel to stick to it. But I do want to make sure that I'm getting off all of my fuzz and all of my cleaner. And again, you're going to let that air dry. Now, even this is not, because it's still wet, it's not, doesn't feel that much right now, but it absolutely will. Let's switch. So that was not very long, right? I mean, that was just a couple of minutes maybe. So here's the mat that we just did. You can see the pumpkin lines. I didn't swap it for something else. All right, see all those pumpkin lines in there? Same exact mat what I had a minute ago. And my hand is really sticking to, I mean,
there you go.
It's definitely got that tack back. So at this point, as soon as it's air dry, you're going to take and recover. So if you pitched your plastic piece, go find it.
So sorry for you.
So, there's not a whole lot of, I mean, you could find some other thing, but the piece that it came with really should be kept. That is definitely ideal. It is totally awesome. Yes, ma'am. So, still a little damp.
Yeah. Oh, it's getting there though.
But even damp, the amount of tack is with even, and it's still wet. I can feel that here. So I'm going to set those aside. We're going to let that air dry just a little bit more.
Over here.
So that is how we highly recommend that you take care of your mats, and taking care of knowing which blade that you are swapping out, how old it's been, and being able to convert that into your correct settings later on, because super important that you're, you know, tracking your settings, which we talked about last week, and being able to make those adjustments of, you know, from auto to 1 to 2 and then replace.
Especially if you use multiple blades. Like if, you know, we do have people who like, I only use one blade. So,
Okay,
you know,
well, your life's a
great.
little easier, right?
But if you use more than one blade, keeping track of that is so much easier if you keep yourself like a little spreadsheet of some sort.
So the other thing that I highly recommend to make sure that you are always using the right blade, which is again going to come back to, if you're changing blades, you need to change the settings that are on the screen
Right.
along with that. So hence the little notebook or piece of paper to track what,
Right.
okay, vinyl blade, I need to set it this
Right.
to get a good cut. And that, again, we covered that last week. I don't want to overly go into all of that again. But my tip is, notice I have no blade in my machine. If you have 4 blades like I do, you don't want to use the wrong one because you just hit cut without thinking about what blade you had in there. I have ruined things because I didn't have the right blade in. I've done demos where I didn't have the right blade in. So what you want to make sure is that you are matching the blade to the appropriate piece. So when this machine first came out, it was a new concept for me, you know, like changing my blade with whatever it was that I was doing, because I pretty much always used the standard blade before. It never, so standard blade was in there, and I'm showing how to cut fabric, and it wasn't coming out. And I was like, what's going on? I never right bladed. It was shredding the edges of my fabric because I had the standard blade in. I had to change to the fabric blade, and I was expecting fabric blade results, and I wasn't getting them. So my fix for that is, when I'm done cutting, I remove the blade out, and then I have to choose which blade to put in, because it won't let you cut. It doesn't even give you the button to cut unless there's a blade in there, because as I discussed before, there's little grooves back here that the machine knows what one you've put in there. So where do you put all your blades?
I try to keep them, like some of them under here, but I'm not super good at doing that. But I have like a little, like a flat jar that's like next to the machine, and I just put the extra blades over there. The case.
Do you have one of those?
I don't have this case. I have a case, but it doesn't fit on the shelf next to it.
Gotcha.
So
this is the case that we are discussing, and it says ScanNCut. You can see through. Sorry, it's kind of glared, but there's a little handle at the top and everything, and it's zippers all around. So it has compartments inside for you to keep all of your accessories kind of there. Now, they didn't ask us. We would have told them. When you designed this, you need a long, so there's 9 pretty equally. These are a little bigger than this one, but not pen sized, or, you know, it doesn't fit in there. So what I did at home is I actually cut the plastic here and flipped that back, and I taped it. So if I ever want to put it back, I can. But I flipped that back. So I have one large compartment here, and I put my foil pens, my tools, all of that kind of stuff in that long one. And then all of my pens and my blades and all of those miscellaneous pieces have a home. So you get pens, you get a pen holder, which is this guy here. We've got a universal pen holder, which goes with this. Those are generally in the same compartment. So I have a nice little thing here. They stopped having these for a little while, and I was super sad because this is very helpful for me to have it all in one place.
But they have them again.
They do have them again, and we actually do have a couple here. So my blades, I have, whether they have their own compartment or you can, you know, group them together or whatever in there, but then you have all of your blades and everything in one spot. So I also find that that is super helpful. I'm just going to cut this one.
We should,
yes. But this would then, is part of your tools. If you get them, these two come together, sit in there as well, and that makes it a knot. This is my rhinestone tool, which doesn't fit anywhere either. So, and then the blade scraper actually does fit at an angle in there as well. So literally everything is in one spot for me. We have those available in a couple colors, in case anybody's like, oh, I need that in my life. I definitely needed it in mine. So this is the tools that I was talking about. Those are available if you need them. But there's the case in the, I have one of these left in the black with the blueprint, and then we have 2 of the gray with a teal print on there.
They match the new
They match the ScanNCut bags
Mm-hmm.
that are designed for this machine. So nice little way to make sure that everything stays together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if we have those on the site or not, but those are the 3 we have in stock. We can get more now, so it's not a big deal if you waited a second and then those 3
Missed
were
it.
gone. We
Yeah.
can certainly get more too. The other thing to talk about is these little rollers right here. Sometimes those get gunked up, especially if you're using tape on the sides of your mat.
Mm-hmm.
You can get adhesive and yuck on there.
Yes.
So you can actually lift this side of the bar up because of the roll feeder settings and get something in there, and then that will lift that one up just enough that you can
Mm-hmm.
clean that. So keeping those rollers clean will help keeping your mats feeding properly. If you've got a lot of gunk on something, there,
Mm-hmm.
it could skew it, and then you have a mat feed issue.
And do you clean that with your Totally Awesome?
You
or,
certainly can,
I
or
like
a
having-
Clorox wipe.
I
I've
was gonna
done
say, like,
a Clorox wipe where
or
I just
those
kind of
little
seesaw
alcohol
it.
pads.
Yep,
Yeah.
where I literally tuck it in there and I'll seesaw it, so I
Mhm.
get, and then spin it to make sure I'm getting all of the sides.
Yeah.
So this little lever over here will raise that up so that you could move the lock feature, which is how it guides. The roller can move over to this position for your roll feeder if you're
Mhm.
using that. But because of that, it gives it just a little bit of space in there where you can easily clean that. Just don't forget to relock that because your machine will not work right if it's not locked in
true.
place. So important things. So keeping those clean and using the correct type of tape if you are taping can make
Super
a very,
important.
very big difference as well. So ScanNCut actually has its own tape. And I'm going to unplug
If they got
this.
the email with the links to this,
You got the link for that
to
too.
the ScanNCut tape.
So ScanNCut tape, it looks kind of like painter's tape. It is a washi tape, if any of you know what washi tape is.
Mhm.
So it sticks well, but it doesn't
It sticks.
leave the residue behind.
Well, I was gonna say it sticks better than washi tape because, like,
It
washi
does.
tape, if you try to use that on your ScanNCut,
It
it
doesn't
just
really.
rolls back up.
Yeah, it doesn't. And what we don't want is our tape coming unrolled inside of your machine. We have gotten many machines in here for repair that have gunk in the machine because it came off the mat while the mat was feeding through.
Yeah.
And it's generally tape because tape then grabs hold of something inside the machine and then it sticks to that, and then all of a sudden things
It's
aren't
a
feeding
mess.
right and you get a big mess.
Yes.
So can you do any of that fixing at home? The first thing that you should do if you're having some of those kinds of issues, or if you scan something and you get a blank bar,
Mm-hmm.
there's something stuck in your machine.
Yeah.
And how do you get that out? So this is the underside. Obviously, you saw me flip it over. So we have a little tray that comes out that you can use to kind of support your mat coming out the back of the machine. That sits inside or out, doesn't matter. You can see maybe that this is a little bit loose, and that's because this part slides in and out. So there's a release. Thank you. There's a release right here, and then you can pull that whole section right out of the machine. I just try not to grab anything too I think I've got it released. There we go. So I push down here, and then that whole section will slide out. And what that does, I'm going to leave that there to kind of pop it up, is it reveals my scanner. So this is what is actually taking a picture of your mat as it scrolls through when you pop up with something on. So if you have a piece of paper that's stuck in there, you're not going to see the entire mat coming in there. I have seen tape, I've seen papers, I've seen vinyls, I've seen all kinds of stuff stuck in there. And you can, don't spray into the machine. Do not do that. But you could spray a cloth or paper towel and then wipe that to clean your scanner bar to keep that functioning at top capacity.
Yep.
And then this guy slides right back in pretty easily. Only when I'm not on camera. There's a little hook in there. You got to get it in the right spot. I'm too low. I'm just too low, that's all. You can't see what I'm doing. Usually I flip it all the way up, but I'm trying to keep it so and then you're going to pop that back in place. And that is all there is to cleaning that. And then again, this can be either in or out. I'm not going to lie, I never have mine out. But it's there if you want it.
Right.
So that is how you clean the scanner. So that is cleaning of the machine, cleaning of the mats, organizing and changing out your blades.
And
what else we got?
if you're not experiencing an issue with your scanning or cutting, there's not necessarily any reason to take that plate off at the bottom.
No.
Don't just go,
Don't willy-nilly just
I should
yank
clean
it
it
off.
every day or something like
Nope.
that. It doesn't need, that's just if you're having scanning issues or you saw a piece
or
of tape
something's not
feeding
proper, you're not getting a good cut because there's something blocking the feed of the mat going through. Absolutely.
So yeah,
don't just randomly do that if you don't need to.
Right. There's not any real preventative maintenance down there. That's really maintenance when you have a problem.
Have an issue.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So kind of like you're troubleshooting if you're having an issue, but you don't have to do that anything. The only other thing that I think we should mention is the bar on the side.
So this little guy right here, nobody knows what it does.
Right.
So this has a 1 and a 2. So 1 is here, 2 is here. So I'm currently up, which means I'm on 2. What does that actually mean?
That's the height of something.
That is.
It's the height of your bar, right?
It is the height of your scanner bar.
Yeah.
So generally, you're going to have that on 1. So when you get it new out of the box, it will be down on 1. Why will that need to go up? That needs to go up if what you're putting through the machine is thick.
Right.
So the scanner bar, which we just showed you, is this thing that sits, for lack of it sits here, let's say. I put in a super thick product, that product is going to hit my scanner bar.
Right.
And the machine's going to say, hey,
this isn't working for me.
this isn't working for me. And it literally says, please raise your bar to 2. And so you reach over and you flip it up to 2.
Yep.
If you are scanning something that is not, and it literally is having problems seeing because it's too far away, it will ask you to lower it. So do you really need to know anything about that bar? No, but it helps to understand what it does so that you know why it's up on 1 and why it's up on 2.
Yeah.
If I am just scanning my mat, I want that scanner bar as close as possible. Think about when you scan something on the top of your printer or whatever. It is on the glass, right?
Yeah.
You don't want your glass farther away because then you're going to get shadows and issues. So that's what we're doing.
All I can think about is somebody putting their face on a glass right now.
Just their face?
Well, I mean, and wondering why it didn't come out well.
So don't do that either. But so that's what that is doing. It is raising and lowering the scanner bar that we just talked about. So you'll want to keep it down on 1 unless you have a thick product that needs that extra space. It will ask you. But if you are, if you're thinking through whatever is going on, it will tell you to do that. But if you've already done it, then it won't stop and say, hey, I need you to do this. Not that it's a big deal. It just says you just hit start again when you've fixed it.
Right.
But it will, if you know what it does, then you can make that adjustment on your own instead of waiting for the machine to ask you to. It just saves a little bit of time.
Yes.
So that is, I think, all of that maintenance that is going to be your standard go-to stuff.
Right.
So I think we have tackled all of the questions that popped up as we went.
Except for Mary asked, what is our Facebook page? It is LeBou Sewing Center. Looks like you're watching on Facebook, so you might see a little thing up in like the top left or the top right hand corner that might have like our logo on it.
Click that and take you to the page.
Yes. Or if you still can't find it, because Facebook is sometimes really funny about things, our little information is streaming down there, and I would be happy to
send you a link
that to you. I can't, unfortunately, link Facebook from this here. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
It does not.
Doesn't play nice
Facebook,
with that.
Right.
So that is what we had for you today. We've got a few minutes left to reveal.
Yes. So, so, Lisa is the new boss. So we're spending her money now.
Yes, we are. But we want to be able to spend money and buy some fun new things. So to do that, we have to make room in the store. So we've got some plans to make a few things here. So we're going to have a little sale.
We are. It's a stupendous sale.
It's not really a little sale.
No, it's a big
sale.
sale.
Pretty good sale. So What are we going to put on sale?
We're going to put a lot of things on sale, but this
weekend,
on Friday and Saturday, we have a ton of fabric, like really good fabric that's going to be 60% off. So
that was a
6-0. That's right.
6-0.
So our fabric is basically $12 a yard, and so it's going to be
$4.80 a yard.
Yes.
And it's going to be probably at least 50% of the bolts that we have in the store.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. We have a ton of overstock on like a bunch of Kimberbell fabrics. They aren't the basic stuff that's all the time.
The basics aren't on sale.
So yeah, it's not going to be like
we use
grunge
those all the
and
time.
stuff like that.
We don't actually, need
Right.
to knock that off.
But we have collections of fabrics, oh so delightful and
Yep.
Halloween and Christmas fabrics and all that.
And then there's non-Kimberbell Halloween and Christmas and sewing themes and baby themes and
yes, and trucks and glow in the dark
all
stuff.
kinds of different fun things, and all of those bolts are going to be on sale.
They're going to be on sale.
60% off.
Yes.
So going from $12 a yard down to $4.80 a yard.
Yes, it is a 1 yard minimum cut, but I think under $5 a yard is
amazing.
It is amazing. It's been a long time. So
great question. That was going to be the next topic.
Yeah, it is an in-store sale to start with. We have a ton of bolts that are not on sale on our website.
Yeah. The only ones that we have online are the ones that we refill when we've run out. These are the ones that we can't refill, that kind of fabric. So to put all of those online for the sale would be a stupendous amount of time that we don't really want to embark on unless we absolutely have to. So it will start in store only this weekend. So this weekend's sale is in store. If there is something particular and you are out of state, we're happy to take a phone order. And you can say, hey, do you have this one? Maybe you've seen some fabrics that we've used before and you're wondering if we have any more of it or something like that. We're happy to do that.
Yep.
But at this time, there will be an in-store only sale for this particular part of this sale. We'll have them marked and out and whatnot.
We do not have any cafe facet fabrics. I'm sorry.
Not a single bolt in the store.
Not even a little one that I can say. So no.
Unfortunately, that will not be part of the sale because we don't have any.
Right.
So.
And we also are going to we need to make some room. We want to make some changes here.
Yep.
And we have some of the So Unique cabinets here that we've had for a little while. Our floor models, they are the handmade wood cabinets.
They're all 100% oak with beautiful hardware on them. They have that lowered platform so that you're not sewing like this, and embroidering like this. And so everything is at that nice and comfortable level.
Yeah.
And we have 4 desks and 4 drawer sets that are available. 2 of the desks have drawers built in and 2 of them do not. And we have 1 sewing cabinet that has drawers on it. And that one has a cutout with an insert to put down.
Yes.
So 1 sewing cabinet or sewing only cabinet, and then 4 embroidery sewing combo cabinet options. They come with an extended leaf. They come, like we said, there's drawer options that are available. There will be a price for the combo. If you buy both the desk and the drawers that go together, that'll be a better price yet. So those are, this is what I sew on at home. That is I've loved them since they started working here. The problem is that they've priced themselves out of our personal store market. So with the real wood, that price, you guys all know, COVID killed the wood market. It just, and so all of those cabinets are going to be on a blowout sale. And that sale will run Friday and Saturday.
And that is in store because you have to pick those up. We cannot ship those.
Yes, those you would have to bring your trailer or truck or whatnot, and we'll help you load it in.
Yes.
Happily help you load it in, but we cannot ship those out.
So we have cabinets and fabric this week, and then we will have a special sale next week.
Next weekend as well.
And we're Not going to tell you. That's right. So we're going to keep you guessing. But there'll be a couple of weeks where we're doing this stuff. And, you know, some of the fabrics that we have left over we'll put on sale next week as well. But it won't be the
hopefully
same.
the, you know, the amount of work that it would take to put those items on the website won't be as enormous because we'll have less bolts.
Absolutely.
But again, we're happy to take a phone order if there's something that you know you're looking for. You know, we're absolutely here for you. So we'll do what we can for you.
But we are excited to get some new stuff in the store, freshen it up, and make some new room. So come and help us do that.
Yes, because there will probably be a grand opening party of some sort here in the next couple of months. Once we get everything rearranged and shifted.
Big plans.
Big plans. Lots of fun things that are going on. So
it's fun to do a little facelift. The store's been looking like this for a long time.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of things. So it'll be exciting. One of these days afterwards, we'll do like we did before with the store tour.
Yep.
We'll do that again. But
not right now.
Not yet. So super excited for that. Hopefully you enjoyed all of the beautiful information of the ScanNCut. And next week we are going to talk scanning, like actually creating files and how to use the scanner bar that we talked about today, how to use that and create your files either for future use or immediate use, all of those good things and how that all works.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll talk about next week. So we're still in January. So it will be ScanNCut day next time too. And then I don't
know because you're gone.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I get to go to St. Louis.
And learn all about the machines
and learn
that
all
you
about
don't
the
know
machines
anything
that
about.
I evidently need to learn about. You know, the joys of new business ownership. So I will be out of the store the final week of January, the 29th. I'll be in St. Louis and I'll be gone that week. So
it'll be a surprise. We might do something.
I'm going to try to pop in if we can.
We have a virtual dime event that day, so
we'll see. It'll be a little difficult, but I'm going to try. So we'll see. We're going to try to figure that schedule out, and we may not know it until Monday when I get there, and I'll be like, hey, I need to disappear for for a hot second there and see what happens. So thank you for joining us. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Sarah.
And we appreciate you guys supporting us and hanging out and watching our stuff. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And
share.
Don't forget to share. So.
And visit us. We have lots of stuff.
Yes.
So online and in person.
Yes. And don't forget, Friday and Saturday. All right. We'll see you guys then. Take care. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.